Now, from Omaha's news leader, KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5 starts with breaking news.
A nationwide manhunt for a suspected triple murderer is over. U.S. Marshals confirm they arrested 46-year-old John Dalton Jr. near Jackson, Tennessee this afternoon, just hours after the crime at 37th and Spalding. Omaha police say he shot and killed his parents, 70-year-old John Dalton Sr. and 65-year-old Jean Dalton. Then they say he turned the gun on his 18-year-old niece, Leanna Dalton Phillips.
Tennessee is the same state that Dalton Jr. fled to in 1998 after killing his wife. A manslaughter conviction kept him in prison for nearly 12 years until his release in 2010. Now, there is a connection between that killing and last night's triple homicide at 37th and Spalding. KETV NewsWatch 7's Camilla Ortiz joins us in a moment with that story.
But we begin with KETV NewsWatch 7's Michelle Bandur and a father's raw anguish. His teen daughter, the youngest of yesterday's 3 murder victims.
Who would have knew that when I left here, when I dropped her off on Christmas, and I kissed her on her forehead and told her that I love her, you know what I mean? And she told me, you know, I love you, Daddy, and just gave me a big hug, held her for a minute, and hopped on that highway that would be the last time that I would see my daughter alive.
And the last place he saw his daughter is the same place where she died Tuesday night.
Michelle Bandur is live outside of that home at 37th and Spalding. Michelle.
Well, Melissa, David, Leanna's father tells us even though he technically hasn't been part of the Dalton family since his daughter was a toddler, he says they treated him like family. And now he says he has to plan a funeral for his daughter instead of those graduation plans next spring.
This is when she won her award for the essay she wrote on the Holocaust.
A father beams over his daughter's accomplishments.
We was just so proud of her.
Claude Phillip, who lives in Des Moines, just spent Christmas with Leanna in Omaha.
And I kissed her on her forehead and told her that I love her, you know what I mean? And she told me, you know, I love you, Daddy, and just gave me a big hug, held her for a minute.
And that was the last time Phillip saw his daughter alive. He says she got off work at Target Tuesday night and stopped by her grandparents' home to pick up her little sister. The 6-year-old witnessed the shootings and ran to get help from neighbors.
As far as I know, my daughter's car was still running, you know what I mean? She just went in to go make a plate in just the wrong place at the wrong time and that fast, and she was gone.
Phillip says his daughter excelled in school. A senior at Burke High School, Leanna had straight A's, was the captain of the drill team, and was talking about where to go to college.
She had a bright future, and it was taken away from her in a split instant, man.
Well, Phillip says that he hasn't seen the accused killer, John Dalton Jr., since he got out of prison a few years ago. He did say that his daughter told him she didn't like to be around him, saying that he was just different when he was released from prison. Reporting live, Michelle Bandur, KETV NewsWatch 7.
Michelle, thank you. Douglas County Attorney's Office put Dalton in prison once before, and right now they're building a case to do it again.
Yeah, we know prosecutors were at the scene last night. That is not uncommon in high-profile crimes. KETV NewsWatch 7's Camilla Ortiz has more on Dalton Jr.'s history.
It's been 7 years since Dalton Jr. was released from prison, sentenced for murdering his wife. Before and after that crime, there's no record of violence. September of 1998. That's the first time the public saw John Dalton Jr.'s mugshot after he shot and killed his wife, Shannon Dalton, in their home near 26th and Ruggles, their 3 daughters in the other room. Court documents indicate Dalton had a phone conversation with his father, John Dalton Sr., earlier that month, who told police, quote, for the first time that he could remember, his son, John Dalton Jr., was disrespectful to him and accused him of having an affair with Shannon Dalton. In the early morning hours of September 7th, 1998, Dalton Jr.'s cousin told police he received a phone call from Dalton Jr., who told him to, quote, come directly to the address as soon as he could. He did, discovering Shannon's body in the living room, Dalton Jr. nowhere in sight. He was arrested 2 days later in Nashville, initially facing second-degree murder, but served just over 11 years for manslaughter and weapons charges due to a plea deal. Since then, Dalton Jr.'s record has been quiet, neighbors telling me he'd always keep to himself in his home, the same one where he killed his wife. In Omaha, Camilla Ortiz, KETV NewsWatch 7.
Again, murder suspect John Dalton Jr. is in a Tennessee jail tonight. U.S. Marshals arrested him this afternoon outside of Jackson. That is a 10-hour drive from Omaha and last night's crime scene.
Now, extradition efforts are underway, but he'll have to appear first before a judge in Tennessee. And when we know when he's back in jail, we'll send a push alert in the KETV mobile app. That's also where you can see the latest in this breaking investigation.
At this hour, we are still locked in this brutal deep freeze, dangerous temperatures for anyone caught outside. Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby has the upfront forecast to plan your evening. Bill, it feels like -9 out there.
David, yeah, it's bad, and that's as good as it's been all day. I mean, it has been double digits below zero for wind chills, temperatures single digits all day, cloudy skies at the moment. Current temperature 7. It's our favorite number. Not our favorite temperature here at Channel 7. A lot of spots at 7. York, Lincoln, Omaha, Nebraska City, Red Oak, Atlantic, Harlan, and also Carroll and Iowa. Factor in that little breeze. 5 to 15 below zero currently for the wind chill for much of the viewing area. And Super Doppler 7 radar is showing some light snow, especially north of the metro, but I think there are probably some flurries making it to the ground here. Bennington, Irvington, Ponca Hills area, and we'll get some flurries and light snow into the Omaha metro. You see the motion of the cloud cover west to east, and then snow showers showing up, especially higher up in the clouds on the radar to the north of us. So a dusting to possibly half an inch. Fremont, Blair, Tekamah, Omaha, about an inch or so, Denison and Carroll as we go through this evening. The light snow this evening, a story, the frigid temperatures, not quite as cold for Thursday, but brutal cold for New Year's, and also for the late week, another snow chance. We'll have more on the snow chances in the cold. Here's the evening, some flurries and light snow, steady temperatures. Back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. And as those temperatures dropped to record lows in Lincoln this morning, firefighters battled 2 massive fires.
One at a warehouse, the other inside of a home. That blaze sent 9 people to the hospital. Battling the flames, a daunting task in this weather, but one that firefighters have to face.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Waverly Monroe now on how they're fighting fire and ice.
We had a report about 5:15 this morning that passerby saw or heard explosions and saw heavy flames coming from this building.
The hot flames, the cold temperatures, 2 fires in Lincoln sparking just minutes apart.
At 5:20 this morning, we were sent on a report of a house fire.
This house filled with 13 people inside when flames ignited. Medics took 9 of them to the hospital. A battle for firefighters against 2 forces of nature.
One of the hydrants we tried to hook up to was frozen.
Fire and ice.
The challenge is the cold.
Temperatures below zero, freezing the very hoses and tools crews used to get the flames under control.
So we had a water supply issue for a few minutes that we overcame. Recently we purchased some ice cleats, and we've got all the folks here now in ice cleats. It helps them to maintain good traction.
At the home on North 67th, the blaze started in the basement and quickly moved upstairs.
Due to the heavy fire, it took a while to get the fire completely under control.
But a cause has yet to be determined at the warehouse on South 6th Street.
They were several blocks away and realized it was heavy fire. They could see it from several blocks away.
Damages at both buildings are extensive. In Lincoln, Waverly Monroe, KETV NewsWatch 7.
A Millard public science teacher accused of child abuse and sexual assault goes before the judge this morning. His wife also faces charges. Investigators have not released many details about the case. 61-year-old Alan Coble's charges include child abuse, third-degree sexual assault, and attempted sexual assault. The judge set his bond at $150,000. 56-year-old Teresa Coble has a child abuse charge lodged against her. She received a $25,000 bond. Both are ordered to have no contact with children.
A former state trooper says his case against the State Patrol isn't over, despite a federal appeals court and judge refusing to hear his case. Todd Stuckelberg sued the agency last year. He says former NSP head Brad Rice created a hostile work environment and passed him over for promotions. Governor Pete Ricketts fired Rice last year amid allegations that he mishandled internal investigations. A federal judge dismissed Stuckelberg's case, saying the allegations are not fact-based. His lawyer plans to file another appeal. In northeast Nebraska, state troopers say a suspect pulled a machete out while he was being arrested Tuesday night. Now 52-year-old Billy Ray Hoshett is in jail. Investigators say he got into a physical fight with the trooper, punching him in the face. Backup had to pull him out of his home before they cuffed him. He now faces multiple charges.
A grocery store manager says a shoplifter punched him in the face over a carton of almond milk. Omaha police reports show it happened at the Woolners on Dodge in Midtown Crossing last night. Officers arrived and got 21-year-old Justice Miller in custody after a struggle. The store manager told police Miller had stolen from the store twice before. A 90-year-old man dies in Iowa after falling into a water well Christmas Day. The scene just outside of Gilman. First responders pulled Maurice Tuft out of the 6-foot well 20 minutes later. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. It's still not clear why he fell.
There's more news next at 5, including the lines forming at county offices with taxpayers. Our Washington bureau has more on why so many Americans are choosing to pay early.
Right now, a live look at rush hour traffic in this brutal cold. Bill's full Arctic forecast is after the break.
You're watching Omaha's news leader, KETV NewsWatch 7, with David Earl, Melissa Fry, and your Weather Now forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Randby. Live from 7 Burlington Station. This is KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5.